So the East Coast and Hawke's Bay really the focus of today's rescue efforts. Let's get the latest on what's happened in Hastings. Tia McDougall reports.
After hours spent stuck on the roof, help finally arrived. A gift from the heavens in a form of a helicopter. At huge risk, these men were whisked to safety. There was no other option. Just look at all the water. It's no surprise the same rescues were repeated hundreds of times across Hawke's Bay. Helicopter after helicopter after helicopter. And with each trip, a fresh load of heartbroken people in utter disbelief, left with nothing but the clothes on their back.
Yesterday, north of 300 people were rescued in Hawke's Bay and are currently being cared for at civil defence centres.
Farmer Todd Morris is one of them, rescued after 5 hours on a roof, leaving behind his flooded land and beloved dogs.
It was intense, but yeah, especially with dogs on sitting on the roof, and then Chop comes and picks you up.
While he and the rest of the evacuees at the Hastings Sports Centre are devastated, they are alive.
Sadly, we've lost 2 lives, both in the Hawke's Bay. This is incredibly upsetting for everyone involved, and my thoughts are with the family and friends as they face this tragic loss.
From the air, it's easy to see just how deadly Gabrielle became. Home after home, completely destroyed. Only the roofs of some were visible, painting a picture of just what people like Ross Cocking went through.
I managed to get out and get onto my roof, and then waved a boat down, and he come and got me.
He made a brave effort to share his story, but it was still too raw to live through again.
I live at Pakawai, so we drove up to which is only probably 500 yards. We drove up to see the river. It was flowing really fast, and so we came back home. Then one of the neighbours had pushed bike down from down the road and said, "Oh, the river's breached further up. It's coming this way." Within 5. Sorry.
He lost his house.
It's not just homes destroyed, livelihoods too. Entire orchards submerged in metres of water, and livestock no longer in the fields they once roamed. A region still in survival mode. Tia McDougall, News Hub.
Well, let's go live to our reporter Leighton Hakel, who's in Hastings. Kia ora, e hoa. Leighton, some heartbreaking stories coming out of that region. What are you seeing?
Yeah, it is absolutely heartbreaking. And those pictures from inside the chopper, we were in that chopper looking over the region, and it just is hard to comprehend what this region has been through in the past 24 to 48 hours. It is incredibly, incredibly wet, and police, as you probably are aware, police have confirmed that a child was found dead in these waters in Eskdale. And they've confirmed that they are still missing people out and about in the area, and they have grave concerns for their well-being. There have been over 1,400 reports of missing people. Some of those might be duplicates, but obviously that's an alarming number, still unaccounted for.
Yeah, one of the issues, I guess, is that some communities are still completely cut off. What's being done to help them out?
Yeah, well, as you can see behind me, this is a road that gets you around the region, and it is completely still submerged. A lot of that water is not going away very fast, so access in and around Hawke's Bay is incredibly difficult, and Civil Defence are urging people just to stay put, stay in those evacuation centres and get off the roads, because it is hampering their efforts, their rescue efforts, and the critical emergency needs that they have going between Napier and Hastings. I understand that there is one road that may be open, but it is that people are being asked to not use it because they need that road free for emergency services. Communities are still being cut off all day. Helicopters, even just now we can see one over in the distance. Army, Air Force helicopters, and other just helicopter companies have been going out and doing what they can to collect up people and get to those isolated communities.
And Leighton, have people been listening to those instructions? What have they been saying to you when you've been talking to them?
They have been. We've spoken to a lot of people at the evacuation centres, and quite emotional scenes down there. I spoke to a man who, got through the storm event just yesterday when the water rose suddenly. He lost his cats in that incident. He was emotional, and understandably so, because his house is completely destroyed. He's having to spend another night in the evacuation centre like many others, and I think there's just so much shock and disbelief at what's happened here. It's heartbreaking to see.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sure there is a lot of shock and disbelief, but a lot of those areas have been completely inundated by water and silt, and those people are likely to be out of their homes for weeks, maybe months.
Many of them will likely never be able to live in their homes because, judging by what we saw in the air today, there was water that was still lapping at their roofs. Those homes, all their possessions, completely destroyed. I won't be surprised if many of those homes aren't salvageable, and I guess questions will be, going forward, questions will be asked over the locations of those homes, whether homes should in fact be in those areas, because as you saw in Tia's story, as you heard over the last couple of days, the water just rose so quickly when it burst those banks, and it submerged a lot of this region.
Leighton Hakel reporting live from Hastings. Tēnā koe.